welcome to another podcast episode. I have a lot of things to share with you today and I'm really excited about it. It's been an absolutely beautiful Saturday. I got up quite early and went to Trader Joe's, which is about 45 minutes away from where Micah and I live, and grabbed some groceries and things. The reason I went was because Trader Joe's has like green beans and lots of other things that every other store doesn't have. So probably about once every 2 months or so, I'll make a point of trying to get over there and pick up some stuff. So I got what I needed, and then I stopped by and I grabbed some stuff from Walmart because we had a pickup order. Then I went inside and grabbed some other stuff. So basically I was shopping, and then I've been working on a puzzle for quite a while. Well, first I did some cleaning once I got back. Basically I've had a busy day. Like, goodness gracious me. Look at my pretty plant. I got this at Trader Joe's and they had them there for $8, and it's a zebra plant, which is really cool because it actually means it doesn't need direct sunlight, and we don't get a ton of sunlight into our house. It can live here by my reading chair. I need to spin him back around. There we go. Yeah, that's so pretty. 100% think I just scratched up the table, but it's worth it. Also, it's incredibly sunny. I have tried to set the blinds so that there won't be too much fluctuation in light, but it does look like there's a few clouds that came out. If it goes like this with the lighting, that's why. Anyway, so I was working on my puzzle, and then Micah started cooking, which is beautiful, but then he started chopping onions and it started stinging my eyes, so I came up here and decided it was time to film another podcast episode. So here we are. I actually have 3 finished objects to show you, and I'm quite happy with what I've managed to get done. Technically, the last time I filmed a podcast episode, there was one that went up last week, but I filmed that back at the end of April, and it just took me a really long time to get it edited and uploaded. Oops. It's been a bit, so that is why I have several finished objects to share with you. Actually, the funny thing is I did end up finishing all of these within like 3 days of each other because I was really close to finishing several things, and then they're all done. So the first one is a finished pair of socks, and these are knit out of a Patton's Croy sock yarn. I believe the colorway is Sidewalk Chalk Stripes or something like that, and it's really pretty. I based it somewhat off of the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern by Erica Luder. We got a first one, and this is just a shorty sock, which I knit on US size 1 or 2.25 millimeter double pointed needles. I cast on 56 stitches, did some ribbing, did the heel, worked in pattern, and decreased for the toe. You know. However, I believe I mentioned in the last podcast episode that I was a little bit worried that I was going to run out of yarn. I did. I ended up finishing up the toe of the second sock in Patton's Croy Flax. It's another sock yarn by Patton's Croy, and the colorway is flax. They don't match, and I'm okay with that. It actually works out though, because this means I have one more ball of Patton's Croy striping yarn. I purchased 3 for my birthday last year. Happy birthday to me type of a thing. And so now I have most of a skein of this flax colorway left, which I can use for cuff and the heel, or for cuff and the toes, or just the toes on the last pair of socks that I want to make with that last color of yarn. I'm not sad about the fact that I had to get that other one. And no, they don't match, and I don't care. They're pretty and they're comfortable and they fit really well. That's what matters. The next pattern is the Maycroft shawl, not Mayfield. I do not know why my brain decided that Maycroft was Mayfield. I don't understand. This is the Maycroft shawl by Libby Johnson of Truly Myrtle, and I finally finished it. Technically, it hasn't been blocked yet because I actually need to get some blocking mats and then pin it all out and stretch it all out, but other than that, it is done. I did not have enough yarn left over for tassels, which I was very sad about. It is beautiful and lovely and cozy, and now I can actually show you like the stitch patterns. So we've got these lace sections and then these garter ridge sections, and it's just beautiful. This was knit out of a 75-25 superwash merino nylon yarn, or no it's not. This is a tweed yarn, so it's 85% superwash merino, 15% nep. I love it. It is just the most beautiful, russety, squidgy thing ever, and it has been on my needles for so long, and I'm just thrilled to have it done. And then the last finished object, which is just so pretty, I finished my hand knit blanket. Oh, there we go. And it is huge. It is so big. It was supposed to be like kind of a one-person size blanket, but I think just because of the garter stitch and how it stretches, it definitely fits both Micah and I underneath of it, or like one person just completely under it. And it is so soft and so squishy. Like, it is stunning just how wonderful and cozy it is. Oh, I'm so happy with it. This is knit out of the Lion brand Heartland yarn, if I remember correctly. I don't have the ball band with me. I will link it down below. In the Sequoia colorway, which is just this beautiful brown. And I knit it on US size 7 needles, which I believe was a 4.5 millimeter. And it's just garter stitch. Like, that's all it is. At the beginning and the end, I put a few rows of ribbing. And actually, this is a really cool thing. I'm gonna go blow my nose, and then I will tell you the cool thing. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So the cool thing that I was gonna say, I was getting close to the end of my last ball of yarn. So I wanted to be able to have enough yarn left over to knit the ribbing to match the beginning. So what I did is I weighed how much yarn I had left. Then I knit a row, and then I weighed the yarn after that so I would know about how many rows I would have left that I could knit with the yarn that I had left. And it was so perfect. I ended up with this much yarn at the end, just enough to weave in the ends after I cast it off and everything, and it was just lovely. I was so happy. But yes, this thing is absolutely enormous, and I could not be happier with it. It's just splendid, and it feels so good to have it off the needles because it's such a big, bulky sort of a project. And it was absolutely lovely to knit it. I super enjoyed it. Let me see if I can show it to you. There we go. Now it's just a ball of squish. Yeah. I've been knitting on this for, I believe it's about 7 months at this point. Well, like 6.5 months was about how long it took me to do it, and that was with some breaks here and there. But it is splendid, and I am absolutely delighted with it. And I want to knit more things with this yarn, which, even though it is an acrylic yarn, it is some of the softest, loveliest yarn that I have ever knit with, and it was so much fun. Okay, moving on. Those are the 3 finished objects I have. Then I have a project that I've been working on here, and then I went ahead and grabbed my knitting basket thing from downstairs so that I could show you all of the projects that I actually have on the needles total, all of them. Because now that I finished those, I have much fewer things on the needle. Technically, I do still have my single crochet blanket that I'm working on, but that thing is a beast. It is so big, it makes it really hard to work on. So it's downstairs, and I'll work on it and finish it eventually. I finished a sock project, so I cast on my next sock project. And this is the Mermaid Avenue, I think is what the pattern is called. Mermaid Avenue pattern by Summer of Summerly Designs, I think. It's this really pretty, it's kind of hard to see it in the purple there, but you can kind of see the stitch pattern in the blue and the green. I'm mostly following the pattern. I've adjusted it a little bit to make the stitch count a little bit smaller because I was not going to knit a pair of socks over 64 stitches. It was not going to happen. My feet are weird, and they're large but tiny at the same time. It's kind of a strange thing. Or maybe it's just a gauge that I get. I am knitting it out of, do I have the ball band in here? I don't. I believe it's called the Lion brand Hands and Feet yarn or something. It was at Joann's, and it was like $5 for a ball, but I got it on sale. And so it's just this really cool like self-striping yarn, and it's a 75-25 superwash merino, 25%, or superwash wool, I think, 25% nylon. I was just like, okay, I'll try it out. I've been holding on to it because I knew I wanted to make this pattern with it because it's very fishy and mermaidy because it's got purple and green and blue in it. And so far it's going well. Again, doing my regular on my double pointed needles. I believe I'm doing it over 60 stitches, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Just finished the heel and I'm working on the foot now. So, well, technically I'm working on a gusset and then I will work on the foot. And I don't have the ball band because I wound it up into a ball. Okay. So there's that one. That's the one that I've actively been working on. And then I've got a few projects to show you that I haven't worked on much at all. Except for this one, I actually did work on it some last night, which was really cool. I was quite happy. This is the, I believe it's the Versailles pullover by a knitting pattern designer whose name I will put on the screen because I don't know how to pronounce it. I believe she does L something handmade on Instagram. And this is the Versailles pullover. I think it's the Versailles pullover. I could be wrong. It is just a very basic plain pullover. I think I might need to put some more length into the body. I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait until I finish my other sleeve and then see where I want to go from there. I have one sleeve done, and then I'm currently working on the other sleeve. And I was doing this on double pointed needles, but I randomly switched it over to these circular needles, and it's coming. It's not like my most favorite thing to work on, but it'll be fine. I want to get it done because then I can see whether or not it's something I want to keep, or if I want to donate it or give it to a family member or something like that. So we'll find out. But I'm knitting this out of a 100% superwash merino yarn. This is some of my hand-dyed yarn. I wanted kind of a gray blue, and I think I got it pretty much spot on. So I'm quite happy with the color. I'm not sold completely on the sweater pattern. Yeah, I think it needs a little more length. And I think it's less the pattern design and I think more the yarn type. And I think that it's a little bit of a smaller diameter or like width of yarn. Like my DK weight yarn might be a little bit smaller than what the pattern was designed for, because I feel like it's just very open and I'm not a huge fan of that. We'll see. This is why it's kind of been sitting in the timeout spot, because I just haven't wanted to work on it. I started working on the sleeves some last night and I was like, okay, this isn't horrible. Hopefully I can get that done and then decide what I want to do with it and start another sweater project. And then let me see. I haven't even messed with this stuff in so long. Okay, let's make sure we're not losing any stitches here. That would be kind of sad. This is a random sock project that I was working on that I was kind of making up what I was doing, and I'm not very fond of it. To be honest. And I think it's also because I'm knitting it on magic loop 2 at a time, and that is just not my favorite way to knit socks. I don't like it. We'll see. I might take these off and just take the yarn out and redo it. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. So they've also been languishing. That's a random sock project. This is also some of my hand-dyed yarn. Yeah, I have to decide what I want to do with that because it can't stay in here for forever. Then the last one that I have is actually, this is a fun project. I'm a fan of this project. I just need to get some more scraps and pieces so that I can keep working on it. And it is just a random little blanket that I'm working on out of fingering weight yarn scraps, bits and pieces. So like this orange here is from a sweater. This is from a pair of socks that I made for my younger brother. This was just a colorway that I really liked. I believe that this one right here is a Miss Babs like sample thing. And then it's just got odds and ends and bits and pieces of my hand-dyed yarns or random, yeah, like I said, scraps from other projects. And I ran out, and so I have to wait until I have some more scraps and then I can work on it some more. It's just a very, very plain and simple blanket where I'm just increasing 2 stitches every other row, and we'll see. We'll see how I do with it. Because I kind of wanted to do this instead of some sort of a cozy memories blanket or the granny stripe blanket. But I will say, I have seen some of the granny stripe blankets some more, and I'm very tempted to make one. This one is not an intentional languishing. This is a I don't have scraps languishing. And that is all of the knitting projects that I have at the moment. There are some projects that I want to start, but I'm trying to be good and make sure that I finish up the ones that I have before I start a bunch of other ones. However, I do have some sewing stuff I want to talk about. Last podcast episode, I showed you this dress that I'm wearing, but now I'm wearing it. My memory card ran out of room, so I had to pause and then switch it. Anyway, I was gonna say, I had mentioned that I was making the Deer and Doe chardon skirt out of this pineapple print fabric. And I did, and it's done. I will say, I think I'm going to cut off the facing and just stitch it down, maybe like as if it was a bias binding or something, because I don't know if you can kind of tell. It's kind of hard to see in the camera, but it just tends to kind of, even though it's like understitched and everything, it tends to kind of sit funny. Not a fan of that. And I think I'm going to add a strip of fabric around the bottom, just in the pineapple fabric. I was going to do it in a gold or yellow, but I'm pretty sure I have enough of the pineapple fabric left to just do another strip around the bottom to give it some length. That is why it is not hemmed. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about was a couple of sewing projects that I wanted to work on, because I basically haven't done any sewing whatsoever since I finished my Minerva stuff, because I just kind of got burnt out with it, to be honest. I also recently went through my sewing stash of fabric and decided to get rid of like probably 80% of it. Now I've narrowed it down to things that I'm actually excited to work with. So the first is this polka dot fabric that I think there's a couple yards of it here, and I think I would have enough to make a Tilly and the Buttons Megan dress from the Love at First Stitch book, which I own but I forgot to grab it. And it would be like this one that I made a while ago now, which is very classy. It's just got like a slight sweetheart neckline, little cap sleeves, and it's a semi-fitted silhouette, and then it has an invisible zipper in the back. I love this dress so much. I was thinking that it would be really pretty if I could do that, something in this pattern out of this polka dot fabric. I think it would just be really cute and summery. So I want to do that. And then the next project I want to make, I think I'm going to make a Felicity dress out of this cherry print fabric. And the Felicity dress is the Jennifer Lauren handmade Felicity dress, which is one of my all-time favorite patterns. Those are a couple of sewing projects that I want to work on soon here. I'm not exactly sure. I might work on them a little bit this afternoon, but I'm not sure yet. Kind of want to go work on my puzzle some more, which I realized some of my edge pieces were in my pocket. So I very well may have been looking for these pieces and just couldn't find them and was going back and sorting through all the pieces. Silly. As far as I know, that is all that I have to talk about. I will say, something I'm pretty excited about is Larkay of Fiber Tales is about to release her Grow shawl pattern, and it looks so pretty, and I am so excited to be able to knit it. I will link to her Instagram down below because she just released some like pictures of it. So pretty. I also purchased her, I don't know, it looks like Humblebee almost, which is kind of funny to me because it means, I think it means something to do with bees. And the shawl pattern, Humblebee, has little bees along the bottom of it. So I just purchased that when she had her birthday sale last week, I think, and I want to cast that on. I was really waiting until I finished this shawl and then I wanted to cast that one on. So those are a couple of projects I'm looking forward to. I am going to go work on my puzzle some more and maybe some projects and go ahead and get this probably started to edit, so maybe I can look at getting it uploaded Monday or Tuesday, which would be amazing if I could do that. Other than that, I hope that you all are having a wonderful, relaxing weekend. I have needed this weekend so badly, and it has been great because I've been productive, and now I can just chill and do absolutely nothing. I can make my puzzle or play my Dorf Romantic, which is a video game on the Steam video game software thing, and it is amazing and I love it. Maybe I'll film a couple clips of me playing it and put it here at the end, but it is such a fun game. I hope that you'll have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, wonderful work week and all of that. I hope that you're doing well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.